hazard is responsible for at least 14 deaths in the Northeast, but some doctors say most of those deaths were preventable.
Some were due to car accidents, falls, and fires, but many because of carbon monoxide poisoning. So joining us now to talk more about the dangers associated with the storm is Amy Hanoian-Fontana. She's a specialist at the Connecticut Poison Control Center at the UConn Health Center. Amy, good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You know, we did the story earlier about this little boy in Boston. I guess his father was shoveling and he was maybe cold, and so his dad said, well, sit in the car, I'll warm it up, and he gets in there and he dies, unfortunately, because the tailpipe of the car was covered with snow, and then the carbon monoxide goes back into the car. Right. Talk about that danger and what can be done to prevent this kind of thing.
Well, that is a very dangerous situation, and actually in Connecticut now, for this storm, our carbon monoxide cases are a little bit different, and our sickest patients have been exposed to carbon monoxide in the car, actually. So what happens is, you know, carbon monoxide comes out of the exhaust pipe in your car, but if it's blocked, then it's going back into the passenger compartment and it's seeping back in. And sometimes people don't have a chance to recognize that they're not feeling well if the carbon monoxide level is in fact that high.
And there was actually a couple in Meriden, Connecticut here that also died of carbon monoxide in their car. Are there, talk about the warning signs, since they were together, maybe, you know, someone could have picked up on something and would have been a warning sign. So
some signs and symptoms that we see with carbon monoxide poisoning is headache, dizziness, nausea, vomiting. Those are your first tier of symptoms that you would see. After that, you might see someone having convulsions or being unconscious, passing out, and that is, of course, a higher level of carbon monoxide, more concerning. The trouble is that when you have those symptoms, you're not thinking clearly. So the carbon monoxide is affecting the oxygen that gets to your brain.
Your thought process?
Yes, your thought process, your decision-making skills, and you're not maybe able to recognize that you're not feeling well, or that this is not right, or my friend in the car doesn't look right either. So it affects that because it affects the oxygen that gets to the blood, that gets to the tissues in your body.
So they have these carbon monoxide detectors for the home. It sounds like that's probably a good idea to have at least a few of these in the house.
Right, absolutely. We recommend that everyone have at least one carbon monoxide detector in their home, preferably install it near the sleeping areas so that you can hear it at night if there's a problem at night. Make sure to change your batteries when you change the smoke detector batteries, so we have a fresh set in there, and pay attention to it. You know, sometimes a CO alarm goes off and people ignore it. It's an annoyance, it's a false alarm. Pay attention to it. Does it need a new battery? Maybe that's all it is if you're lucky, but pay attention to the alarm.
Well, let's talk about generator safety, because we mention the points all the time. Every time there's a big snowstorm, when there could be power outages. And the most important thing is to keep it away, far away from the house, right?
Right. That's the most important thing with the generators. You want to keep them at least 20 feet away from any opening from your house, whether that's a garage door, a front door, a window, basement window, etc. What happens is negative pressure in the house kind of sucks that carbon monoxide gas back into the house, and then we have a problem where people are exposed to that gas.
We've been talking about making sure these exhaust vents around homes need to be cleared from the snow. Talk a little bit about that.
Very, very important. I think generally, I would like people right now, after they watch this, to go down into their basement, find their hot water heater, find their furnace, find their dryer, wherever it is, and look at where the vent comes out on the outside of their house. And if there's snow there, you know, around it, even within an inch or two, take the shovel and get rid of that snow and clear a nice big area around each of those vents. Because again, if the snow blocks the vent, the carbon monoxide cannot vent into the open air as it needs to do. It will back up into the house and cause a problem.
Is it easy to find where those places are?
Well, I mean, you got to go look. I wasn't quite familiar with where mine were, and I trudged in the snow and I found them. I looked, I found them. One was a curved kind of PVC pipe. Another was like a metal, metal vent with a round cover type thing. And I just looked for any opening that gave to the outside of my house, and I just shoveled all around it.
Now, since we're talking about the tragic carbon monoxide poisoning deaths in the car, is there any sort of portable CO detector that you could use in your car, or any cars that are sort of equipped with this?
Not that I know of. I don't think there's any cars that have...
I mean, not that this situation happens often,
right.
But...
I mean, you do have carbon monoxide detectors that have batteries. I mean, I guess in theory you could bring that with you. I think the real key here is to don't back your car up into a snowbank. If it's covered with snow or you're snow blowing, just make sure that tailpipe is really clear before you start it, because we don't want to have another tragedy.
And also, don't warm up your car in the garage.
Oh, yes. Do not warm up your car in the garage. That's a big no-no. Even with the garage door open, it's not enough fresh air to circulate the carbon monoxide.
Absolutely.
Amy Hanoian-Fontana. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.